I kicked my obsessive ex-hookup out of my life, and found out that he's a professional hacker who has been stalking me through my pet camera. This is by far the craziest thing to ever happen to me, and I figured I'd share it to raise awareness. Jake wasn't supposed to be anything serious. He was a guy I met at a bar one night, someone who seemed fun and easygoing. Nothing more than a casual fling. I told him from the beginning that I wasn't interested in a relationship, just some good times, no strings attached. He seemed to understand the situation, and for a while, everything was fine. But it didn't take long before Jake started showing signs of being a little too into me. First, it was the constant texting. It started off innocently enough, just checking in, saying hey throughout the day, but then it escalated. He would text me multiple times a day, asking what I was doing, where I was going, and when I would see him again. I shrugged it off at first, thinking it was normal for some people to be more communicative, but then he started showing up uninvited. Jake would pop up at places I frequented, like my favorite coffee shop and my gym, acting like it was just a coincidence. I told him it was too much, that I needed space, but he didn't take it well. Every time I tried to push him away, he'd make me feel guilty. I thought we had something special, he'd say, his voice soft but full of insinuation. I began to dread hearing from him. At first, I tried being polite. I'd tell him I wasn't ready for anything serious, that we could just keep things light, but his behavior made it clear that wasn't what he wanted. He'd leave me long, emotional texts telling me how much he missed me, how much he cared. Then, there were the little things, showing up at my door with a takeaway coffee, even when I didn't ask for it, or accidentally sending me selfies at random hours of the day. He was slowly making me feel like I couldn't escape him. One night, I was out with friends, trying to forget about the mess Jake had become. When I checked my phone, there were 5 missed calls from him, followed by a series of increasingly desperate text messages. Where are you? I miss you so much. Come back. I just want to talk. I blocked him, thinking it would be the end of it, but the messages kept coming from different numbers. Things got crazy one night when Jake showed up at my apartment uninvited, once again. I was sitting on the couch, watching TV, when I heard a knock at the door. Hesitant, I opened it to find him standing there, grinning like nothing was wrong. I thought I'd stop by, he said, as if it was the most casual thing in the world. I told you I needed space, I snapped, trying to stay calm. I can't keep doing this, Jake. But he didn't listen. He pushed past me, making himself at home, acting like it was completely fine. At that moment, something inside me snapped. I realized I had to get him out of my life, for good. No, I said, voice trembling with frustration. You need to leave, now. Jake didn't seem to take me seriously. You'll miss me, he said with a strange smile, like he was daring me to kick him out. You'll realize you need me. I had no choice but to be firm. For the last time, I told him to leave. The tension between us was palpable, and when he finally left, I felt a wave of relief wash over me. I didn't look back. I blocked his number, deleted everything we had ever shared, and made it clear that there was no going back. I thought I could finally breathe easy, but things started to feel off. I noticed small, strange occurrences around my apartment. My cat, Muffin, would act skittish as though something had spooked her, and I started hearing noises in the hallway when no one was there. It felt like someone was watching me. I chalked it up to stress. But then, one day, I received a strange notification from my pet camera. It was a motion alert, movement detected in living room. I wasn't home. I wasn't even near the camera, so who could it be? I opened the app, expecting to see my cat running around or knocking something over. What I saw made my blood run cold. Jake was in my living room, standing directly in front of the camera. He wasn't just in my apartment, he was staring into the camera, as if he knew I'd be watching. My stomach dropped. I immediately turned off the camera, but I couldn't shake the feeling that he had been watching me all along. Another motion alert. This time, Jake was standing at my front door, looking right into the camera. He didn't just stumble upon it. He knew where it was, and he knew when I would be checking. I started to panic. What was going on? How had he managed to hack into my pet camera? It wasn't just the fact that he was watching me, it was the way he had done it. He'd gained access to my personal devices without me ever knowing. I contacted the company that made the camera, hoping they could help. When the customer support team explained that the camera had been compromised, my worst fear was confirmed. Jake had hacked into it. But that was just the beginning. As I dug deeper into my phone and other accounts, I realized Jake had gotten access to far more than just my pet camera. He'd been monitoring me for weeks. I felt violated. How had I let this happen? The realization that someone I had trusted, even for just a brief period, had been spying on me was overwhelming. I couldn't be in my own home without feeling like I was being watched. The fear of Jake knowing everything about me, even the smallest details, was terrifying. The expert confirmed that Jake was a professional hacker, someone who specialized in monitoring people without them knowing. I couldn't believe it. The man I'd once seen as a harmless fling was now a danger to me. I filed a police report, showing them the evidence I had collected. They were able to track Jake's activity and confirm that he had been hacking into my devices and cameras. They arrested him, and he was charged with stalking, hacking, and unlawful surveillance. Jake's arrest was a bitter victory. I had been naive, thinking I could just end things with him without consequences. But now, I have taken back control. I had done everything I could to ensure he couldn't hurt me again. The legal process was long, but it was necessary for me to feel safe again. The moral of the story: stay safe out there, ladies. Trust your instincts, live with your guard up, and do what you can to protect yourself.